All right, being in this bye week, after an extremely disappointing stretch of games, something that might just be exactly what we needed. In a sense of just the way the calendar laid out in time, to be able to really come back as a team. We got back about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning there on Sunday. With treatments, coaches came in. We got a chance to evaluate the film, which, like I said after the game, I mean that's a unexcusable loss. I mean, we for whatever the circumstances, for all the things, we got to go win that game. And there was extremely disappointed. We had opportunities. Some things that I was really proud of our players for the way they fought, and even in challenging situations, of what it was on the scoreboard, but they did put us in a position, and whatever it was called, but I did think they put us in a position to have a chance. But you come back and now the focus, I mean it's all on us, and you look at the way we've played. I can talk about one game, or I can talk about the last 4 weeks. Is we really lacked complementary football, and what we did early in the season, whether it was offensively, having to respond, after a drive, or defensively, whether it was a bad play or a negative, being able to go out there and make the plays necessary. We've really lacked that here in these last 4 weeks, and the team. There have been moments where I thought hesitation showed up, or guys played a little tight, but I think that even in the course of all of those games, have been able to work themselves through it, and put ourselves in it with a chance to win. And but we're not here for chances to win. We're here to win, and we've not done a good enough job when it comes to that and finishing. And a lot of the elements that are showing up throughout the course of a game, just importance every rep, and it really has. It's not just one specific thing you put your finger on. You've got just different elements that have shown up at times, and we've got to. Coming into this bye week, it is truly just about us, and I think the guys, they understand. You sit there, you go through it on film, you talk about the importance of the details, you talk about the importance of the confidence, and then the overall execution. As coaches, we're continuing to evaluate ourselves. Where can we make the changes to be able to put our guys in the best position, or the adjustments that we're having through the course of the game. Are there different dynamics that we can present if there's if something is not as clean for a couple of our guys. And so this is the team. The team, the staff. We're working extremely hard to get it right, and we are going to get it right. And ultimately, we have today was our opportunity, and I think the guys have approached the bye week the right way, in the work and the meetings and all the things. They've had the right approach, but you've got to stay focused on the task at hand. And good Lord allowed us all the opportunity to wake up this morning, and there is an expectation for what has to show up. And it doesn't mean that every moment of the day is going to go exactly how you want. It doesn't mean that today's going to be a great day. But I can my attitude, my effort, what I'm willing to pour in, and am I willing to grow? That's critical. And I do think we have a team you're bringing that mindset and approach. I absolutely know we have a staff that's bringing that mindset and approach, and because it is all of us. And I said after the game, that to go on the road to play the 10:30 kickoff or whatever, all that stuff. For whatever the things are, we did not go out and play our best game. So I didn't have them ready. I didn't have them ready well enough. We all have a hand in that. Players have responsibilities. They've got responsibilities to make sure that when they get step on that field, it looks a certain way. Coaches have a responsibility, right? And we can all you look for the fault or the reason, but it's on us. It's on every single person in our program to make sure that we get the job done. And I do believe in the talent on this team. I think we've shown that. I believe in the coaches on this team. I think that they've proven the talent and ability that they have. At points this year throughout their coaching career, and absolutely believe in myself. And I've been through hard and challenging times, and the results are not where anybody wants them to be. But I do feel and I do believe that this team will rise up and overcome, and we'll break through the stretch that we're on. And it started this week in practice, and obviously as we go into next week with Wake Forest, it'll be a continued focus on our growth. And but I do have a lot of belief in what we'll be able to do and continue to move forward to get this program back where it deserves to be. And I've had a lot of great experiences within my time here of knowing what all it can be and what it's going to be here moving forward.
Our first question will be Chris.
A.D. Alford's statement on Monday, what did you take from that, and what in general does it mean to you and your program?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I try to focus on every day as the day, and obviously I'm always in constant communication with Michael, with president, board. I know and understand the expectations, and for all things, there's no higher expectation than what I have, and I know it's not been good enough, and with every day that I get to come on this campus, to be able to come and be a part of this program, I'm gonna give all that I have. I can sit there over the last 6 years, that's occurred. The results have not always been what I want it to be, but I think that when you go through all the different aspects of where we are and what it's looked like, I mean, we got to get better, and I appreciate the belief of what that is and what that belief is for throughout for our future and what's ahead. But the statement wasn't I wouldn't say the statement wasn't for me, ultimately, because I know every day that I show up, I know what it's going to be, I know what it's going to look like. But I am grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be the head coach here at Florida State, and I'm not gonna take that for granted. I'm also not gonna sit there and just hinge everything off of just what your messages are. I've got a job to do, and I got to go do my job, and we got to be better at it.
Next will be Corey.
Did that statement or your talks with Michael Alford, did it feel like a vote of confidence? Like if you guys handle each day and start winning some games?
Well, I know we have to win games. Like that's right. Where it's like it's the and I take great ownership in our results, and it's not been good enough. And I hate it for Michael. I hate it for our players. I hate it for the program. I hate it for the university, Tallahassee in general. Just all. I hate it for everybody that's had to deal with and experience the disappointing outcomes. But that's on me and this staff and this football team to get that right. And I know Michael's belief in us and what it can be, and I know he watches. He's not a guy that just doesn't show up. I mean, he's there. He's present. He'll come to practice. I mean, the president will come out to practice. I mean, you sit there and you watch players work. You see the things that are being emphasized, how it's being done on the field, off the field, every part of it. But it still comes down to at the end of the game, did you win or did you lose? And we've got to do a better job of, I've said it throughout the last couple of weeks, of the application of the steps necessary to get the win. And like I said, I don't take any days for granted. And I mean, it's for me a lot of gratitude, and I've had a lot of gratitude when we're winning a lot of games in a row, and gratitude even on the disappointing moments, because we're going to get it fixed and we're going to get better.
All right, come back over here for Brendan.
When you say that you didn't have the players ready to play, I guess in hindsight, why? I guess is the question.
I say that because of the result. I say that because at the end I felt confident going in. You try to play and prepare meets. What's their mindset, attitude. Obviously that we did not have the result that I expect. That ultimately we demand of being successful, of winning the game. And so I'm sitting on the sideline. I'm going through it, and just for whatever different components that showed up, whether it was momentary lapse of focus. If we're not the leverage of technique. The execution of certain of certain plays and what we're able to do. I mean, that's all that comes to me. And so, you know, I embrace that responsibility because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we gotta go get it done. And so, and if you go and, you know, I felt, you know, you do a lot of planning of, hey, how are you gonna travel out there? Cause I mean, it's a different trip. I mean, you know, you're playing 10:30 Eastern time. And so, you know, a lot of research of trying to figure, hey, when we fly out at this time, you know, if we fly out the day before, you know, how's that gonna affect this, that, and I didn't think, when I watched our guys, I didn't think it was any effort issue. I thought the guys played and pushed and competed, you know, to try to win. You know, we just, you know, there was different dynamics where, you know, and they did some things were a little bit different, and you know, we got to be able to, we got to be able to trust our rules, our techniques, our, you know, and it's in every phase. But you know, it wasn't, none of that was overwhelming. We just, you know, we moved the ball down the field. You know, we had 400+ yards of offense. We scored 13 points. I mean, you know, defensively we held them under 300, but you know what? They had 3 drives of you know, 10+ snaps, and 2 of those drives, you know, we had either a big penalty or you know a big play that was easily, you know, it could have easily been adjusted based off of us. And so, you know, those are things you look at and you gotta take ownership of, and you know, I've got to be better, making sure that they're ready to do that, you know, by our next game.
Liam?
When you talk about you believe in the talent, you believe in the coaching staff on this team, do you feel that they have that same mindset, that they believe that this can be turned around starting as soon as Wake Forest?
They do. I mean, I've got a yes. I don't have any doubt that they have confidence. I do believe that there's times, and I think you see it across college football with, you know, with expectation of all things. When you come to Florida State, you are coming to expectation, and you embrace it, you celebrate it, you have gratitude for it. You know, and even starting this season, you beat Alabama, and you know, it shows, you know, the talent and ability and the potential that's there. You win a couple of games, then all of a sudden you face, you know, a disappointing result, you know, against a good team, and you know, one, you know, that. But where do you go from that? And then when you know, some just different elements show up where it's with a lack of execution, you know, or turnover, or things that affect, you know, the final outcome of it, you know, or do you start to allow that of, hey, I don't want to mess this up, or hey, I'm going to charge forward with everything that I have, and you know, I'm going to go trust my training, trust my technique, the calls, the guy to the right, the guy to the left, and this is what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm looking for. And you know, there were moments, you know, a couple games ago where I saw that. I saw a little bit of hesitation where guys are in position to make plays, and that's what you have to avoid. But I mean, you look across college football, and there's plenty of talented teams with good coaches that, you know, have had disappointing results that nobody could expect was going to happen. Right? And you know, it's just, you got to work through that. And I'd say now more than ever, once that, you know, when there's a flow of momentum, I mean, you know, I tell our teams all the time, momentum will affect the teams that allow it to. We've got to have that internal mindset strength, you know, just ultimate belief that, man, regardless of what happens, you know, throughout the course of the game or even in a couple of weeks, that, man, you just stay true to who you are and go get better, and the results will take care of themselves. But you know, when I watch these guys, I watch them train, I watch them, you know, and even is throughout this week, I mean, I see the belief, you know, and that you gotta bring that. You gotta have the fun, the joy of who you get to compete with, what you get to do, and you know, I think this team still has that, and I know staff does.
Aslan?
You talked about, you feel like this team can break through. How would you define breakthrough? And as Michael Alford defined to you, what a breakthrough would look like? And
No, for my breakthrough is to go win games. That's it. I mean, we've lost 4 games all by 1 possession, and we've done it a variety of different ways. And it pisses me off that it showed up, and you can't pinpoint one particular. You can't say, hey, well, this side of the ball or this. I mean, there's different elements that have showed up throughout the course of multiple contests, and that's all. I mean, that all comes down to us. It comes down to the players. It comes down to everybody involved. So breakthrough is to go finish and win, and that's what we are. Every bit of our focus is to go do.
Sure. Will that be enough? Do you think if you do breakthrough, will that be enough? You think for Michael Alford to keep your
I know.
coaching track here?
Once again, like that stuff, it's about today for me. Like I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna do everything I can to win today, and then everything building up for Wake Forest. I know, like, I've got a lot of confidence in the long term of what this will be. Like I mean, until somebody tells me different, I have the absolute belief in the long term. And you know, the pressures, the opinions, the expectations, because there's been times, I mean, you look at our first 2.5 years, I wasn't happy with the results there. I wasn't, man. Even after beating LSU and sitting there at 4-3 after a 3-game losing streak, I mean, I was extremely disappointed, and we hadn't had any of we'd won a couple of games that were exciting. We hadn't shown the ability to sustain that here, and then we did. And and even with, I mean, winning 19 straight games is hard to do. I don't care who you have, and most people that we had, a lot of guys on the outside didn't have high expectations for them, but they believed and they trusted and they went through the process, and close games, good wins, big wins, ugly wins. Well, and now, in 2024, we experienced a disastrous season because one, there were some different elements that didn't, that put us in challenging situations, but then there was also, we didn't handle it very well. And it just kind of snowballed on itself. You come into this year, and man, we get off to a great start. Exciting at the beginning, and we've faced some real adversity where we haven't played complementary football, and now it's our job to go get it right. And the trip to Stanford was one that, man, I'm sick about it. It's just I believed it would be a much better result in how we would play and what we do, but there were some components of it that we didn't get the job done for that game, and now it's time to get it right, go move forward, and we do what I expect to do. I mean, we'll have to be worrying about the any of the outside narrative of what people expect to happen.
Matt?
I assume you guys are hitting the road, recruiting like a regular bye week. Kind of what is your messaging to recruits right now with everything going on?
Well, I mean, it's been, obviously we've got great relationships, and this is where over the last, as recruiting has kind of changed, the calendar moving up to December signing day and some of those things, you spend so much time with those relationships and the years that go into it, and we got a great signing class, and we got a great group of guys that believe in us and what we're doing, and even with the disappointing results, I mean, I've got more positive messages or phone conversations with the guys that are committed to us. Just it's a belief, and they see it. Like, I mean, people that play football, they're in it. They experience it in their high school world. I mean, there's going to be the good, the bad. Like, nobody wants to go through the disappointing moments, but by position, they've been able to see themselves in having success here, and absolutely. I mean, I'm sure if they're getting opinions of where things are, it's probably not. I'm sure other coaches are saying whatever they want to say, but these guys that are committed to it, they've been really good, and that's not saying that they're not gonna, I mean, they're kids, they're 18-year-olds. I mean, it's all part of their journey and experience, but there's a lot of confidence, a lot of belief, and the message hasn't changed of who we are, what we're about, and the opportunity that's here for them. And as you look at our team, we're a young team. We've had a lot of true freshmen, because a lot of true freshmen have come in and earned the opportunity. I think we've really done a great job with our talent acquisition, especially with these younger classes. And I'm excited about what it's going to be, and these recruits see that opportunity as well.
All right, we got time for 2 more, Bob.
Coach, you've talked, through the last few months about leadership on the team, players, and guys who can hold other players in their position groups accountable. In a losing streak, that can be challenged. Those leaders may want to fall off or drop off. Are you still seeing leadership from guys when you most need it?
No, I mean, I absolutely think we are, and this is a team that does care, and I think that we've got to be better throughout the course of a 60-minute game, making sure that immediate response is felt and seen and had, so you don't let things stack upon it, and throughout a game. But, you know, these guys, they pour a lot into each other. You know, we've had good moments, we've had bad moments, you know, but, you know, they've stayed steady in you know, their work and their desire and care for their teammates, and, you know, you're working to uphold and you get to the standard of what it is to be, you know, here at Florida State.
Last one, Corey.
I apologize for this question. It's just the one I've gotten the most from Florida State fans that talk about the program right now. So I'm gonna ask you and see if you have an opinion on it. How does a team beat Alabama and lose to Stanford? Like, how does that happen? How does something like that happen? When you can be so good, and then obviously, and I'm sure if you had the answer, you know what I mean? Like, but I just wondered what your assessment of how that happened is.
No, I mean, it's pretty interesting. You start with an apology for a question.
Well, it's even impossible.
But no, it's college. I mean, I know it's like crazy. It's college football. You got 18 to 22-year-olds, you know, and you know, Stanford has, you know, I'm telling you, that game, it kills me with the fact that we went and lost the game. I knew it was going to be challenging. I knew all the dynamics around it. I knew it was going to be a challenging, you know, just, you know, some challenging dynamics with it. And, but to be honest with you, like, Alabama's a really good football team. Right? So how do you lose? How do you beat Alabama and lose to anybody else? Because nobody else is really losing, or they're not losing to anybody else. Right? But, you know, you go through it, and it's college football. I mean, there's great parity. There's great, you know, every team, if you give opportunities, I mean, they're all capable, and you can sit there and right now you go stack up the, you know, say talents or thoughts or expectations, and you know what, you still got to show up and go do it. And it is you know, it's a weekly focus that is your best going to show up. And you know, I mean, if that does not occur, if you're not able to execute to your best, if you're not able to you know, to respond to be the best, you know, if you have a bad play or a bad moment, if that doesn't show up, I mean, anybody right, can give you, you know, challenges. And you know, I believe in this team. I do believe in the talent that we have. I believe in the young man, the coaches, you know, the way that we will finish. But it's, you know, I know what we're capable of, and I also know that we're capable of giving others opportunities if we're not our best. And you know, we've got to go out there and play complimentary Florida State football, being the best we can be. We're still going to see some close games, some ups and downs are going to show up, but if we'll stay true to that, right? I'm very, very confident in what the final result will be as we continue to move forward.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.